Follow up to the SYLO Trading Challenge. New viewers, if you found this because you're looking at SYLO, still stick around. I'm not talking project fundamentals. I'm not talking news. I'm talking how to prepare yourself for the big game, because when altcoin season happens, things are racing, your account is screaming up. Selling is going to be the last thing that you're going to want to do. So you have to practice it. So trading is like a sport. You have to practice the sport. You have to practice clicking around. You have to practice selling. You have to practice buying. You have to practice watching videos. Well, okay. So do you think that you could go play a soccer game, never had played soccer before, having watched YouTube videos about soccer for 5 years? That's not going to make you a good soccer player. It's the same damn thing with trading. You have to practice. That's what this series is about. I do this very regularly within my Discord and Patreon community, links in the bottom, but we do this on a wide variety of coins. But my true north as a YouTuber is to help people's YouTube journey be more profitable. And really, you don't have your money back until you sell. And selling during altcoin season when it's hot, it's the hardest thing to do for newer people. I'm telling you, you got to practice. That's what this is about. So if you're new, watch the other two SYLO videos. The thumbnail should be pretty much the same as these, and you could watch us start to buy and market buy around here on step 1 when it was hitting the 1 hour 200 EMA. And yeah, so just watch the journey of how we were able to go through here. So follow up to SYLO. We're still on step 3, right? So I'm not counting that wick, but candle closure on the 4 hour only went 5.5% below our target. That's fine. For altcoins, you can expect that type of stuff. And if you haven't watched my video in the library section here about straddling orders, right? So if you did that, you would have been buying down here. You don't just buy the line, right? You put in multiple limit buys. So the average is that line, but you don't say to yourself, oh, I could have bought down here. Well, actually I did. Only with 20% of what I wanted to buy, but I still bought down there. That's what straddling orders does. So if you didn't do that and you're following this, go watch my straddle order videos. There are 4 methods to do it. I typically just use even distribution because over time it's going to be even distribution anyway, but there are special scenarios where a top heavy or a bottom heavy, or I did it backwards, top heavy or bottom heavy, either buy limit, so stacking limit buys in here or limit sells. There are special scenarios where that happens, but just trying to buy EMAs, even distribution is usually what you do. Usually use these at horizontals and type of stuff. When you're trying to buy, I use this a lot. When I'm trying to sell, I use this a lot. Especially if it's an altcoin, I want it to go down, so I put my biggest orders here so I can try to be a market mover with it. I do that one a lot when I sell, and I do this one a lot when I buy too. But when I buy EMAs, I almost always do even distribution. But if you don't know what straddling orders means, go to my free video, right? And in my community, I actually go way deeper into that, and it's more specific to the point type of video for that. So. And that's accessible to even the lowest tier cryptoids. All right, so anyway, so we're still in step 3. We bought back. We're in profit, not by much, 5%. And you know what? If you are, a practice trader, most of the time you are bored. The way you lose your money is to get the feeling to overtrade, and I got to be clicking around. No, you set your freaking game plan, and A, you follow it, or B, you have to know when to get the hell out. That's it. And then you try it again. That's boring, right? You set a plan, you follow it until it happens, and or you know when to bail. Wash, rinse, repeat. So we are sitting here in a boring moment. We are waiting for that to happen. That's trading. Learning by doing. That's what we're doing. We are practicing, right? Okay. So here in my last video, I mentioned, you know what? This was my step 4. So if there are a few of you with the idea that, hey, Bitcoin's charging all-time highs, Ethereum's closing the weekly candle above, where Tim said it was really important. If you haven't watched my Bitcoin videos, which has Ethereum in it, you need to watch that. You need to watch the last 2 minimum. Really important stuff. But anyway, you could skip. This might be an area to try to make step 6 around these numbers here, to straddle your orders around that and just skip step 4. Because Ethereum and Bitcoin are doing their stuff. And once Bitcoin starts, however, I personally would take profits early, because if you haven't watched my Bitcoin video, the 3rd most probable situation is this daily candle on Bitcoin does not close above the all-time high. It comes back, starts correcting. So if SYLO gets up here, right, like maybe even today, potentially, because that's not really that big of a move. That 16% move, that's nothing. If it were to get up here today and Bitcoin couldn't close that could not close that candle above, you've taken profits, and then Bitcoin comes down, this comes back down, you can rebuy and then follow step 6. So you have more buys and sells and profit, right? Okay, now let's say in the SYLO trade, this is a perfect example of you have to follow Bitcoin. You have to follow Bitcoin. I'm going to say there's like an extra step in here because of Bitcoin special scenario. If SYLO does not make it to this box, okay, and Bitcoin closes a daily candle below previous all-time highs of 64.8 or whatever the hell it was, you need to watch Bitcoin today. Today's candle. So when you wake up tomorrow and the daily candle did not close above previous all-time highs, what should you do with SYLO? I would move my stops into profit so that if it comes crashing back down, you get a tiny bit of profit, but you lost no money and you can buy more SYLO, right? Or if you see the daily candle not close, you could take the gamble just to sell then, with the idea that the bad candle closure on Bitcoin will force this down. But it's possible, though, instead of setting stops, if you decide to just sell, you run the risk that is when alts start taking off because Bitcoin profits are being taken. However, usually before profits are taken and Bitcoin sold for Ethereum or sold for altcoins will initially for a few days, maybe a week, follow Bitcoin on the way down and then take off once Bitcoin's done going down and consolidates, right? So, but they could just take off immediately. That's why, setting stops and not trying to sell up here. If Bitcoin's closure is bad and not above all-time highs, you have two options. Either put your stops in profit or sell immediately, run the risk that alts pump immediately. Either's fine. I personally would put stops up here. And if you don't know how to do a stop, just YouTube how to set stops, KuCoin or whatever. You can even do it on the exact exchange. So if you use KuCoin, don't know how to set stops, just YouTube. I don't think I have a video. Actually, I do. One of my oldest videos is on that. You can look through there, but just Google it, right? Or just YouTube it and search it. You need to set stops. And you need to be looking at Bitcoin's daily closure. This could greatly affect your trade, and it could set you up for another time to buy even lower without having lost any money, right? So this daily closure of Bitcoin is really important if you're in this trade, I'm telling you. Okay, and this is a perfect example why my primary analysis, even though I'm an altcoin person, my primary analysis is Bitcoin because I trade altcoins based on Bitcoin and Ethereum price movement and the interaction between those two, how they play. All right. So that's what we got. We're sitting here being bored, but we have a contingency plan based off of Bitcoin price analysis. So it's an extra step. Set stops, or actually the extra step is watch Bitcoin's daily closure candle and take some form of action, either in form of putting stops into profit or just selling it. And if you miss out on this because it flies after you sell, because Bitcoin closed below and it still flew, just wait for the next buy opportunity. And you get in that trade and sell here, right? So there are two ways to go about it. And this is all about Bitcoin's daily candle closure. So hopefully, this video, it gets you through the boring. It shows you what trading's about. A lot of it's boring, and keep practicing. You don't have to stick to SYLO. If you see similar formations where a coin is riding the 1 hour 200, it's just bouncing, you can take the same types of trades across altcoins as well. And if you already hold that altcoin, then you can use that with 10% or 20%. You can sell a target that you put for yourself, sell only 20%, and use that 20% to buy back lower, which is my 20-bag theory, 20-bag selling strategy, which is also in my playlist that says library, I do believe. You need to check that out. You need to learn, you need to watch the video on how to straddle, which I pretty much showed you here. This is straddling. If you set your limit sells right there, that's an even distribution sell. You sell. So if you have 100 SYLO, your orders right now are 20 SYLO here, 20 SYLO there, 20 SYLO there, 20, 20. That is an even distribution, but you should watch the video behind it and why it makes sense, and other strategies, top heavy, bottom heavy, all that kind of stuff. Go get into that. And so we're waiting. This is your update. And once it hits this box, I will probably make another video then, but it's been several days and no box has been hit. And I needed to tell you about Bitcoin's daily closure. Most important thing within this trade right now is Bitcoin. As weird as that sounds, your SYLO trade, the most important thing right now is Bitcoin's candle closure. I cannot stress that enough. Y'all just get Timified.